Good morning, everybody. Travis Holzem with Food Forest Abundance, Minnesota, and coming to you from my downstairs indoor grow room. And just another update. I think I made a video like 4 days ago, something like that. And so just gonna make another update, show you how things are coming along. And if you have watched my videos, you're gonna notice some growth and some big changes on some of these plants, and because they are really starting to, the roots are starting to get a lot more nutrients, a lot more water through them, because now the root systems are through the net pots and they're hanging down, and when the bubbles pop inside the buckets, they're splashing their nutrients up on the bottom of the roots coming through. So they're getting a lot more water from the top and the bottom, and they just grow like crazy. I have a feeling in the next 2 weeks all the tomatoes are going to start flowering, and in 4 weeks there's going to be tomatoes on these. Maybe less, we will see, because they are growing so fast. And then I also have a seed tray full of fruit trees and berry bushes that I'm propagating for next spring. I have a tub, aeroponics, Rubbermaid tub, a Rubbermaid type tub system for my herbs and lettuces. And then banana trees, just for fun. And some pepper plants I was growing outside this summer that I brought down here to continue to grow, and they're flowering and starting to pepper again, or fruit, whatever you want to call it. And then my cannabis is growing like crazy, and it's time to move it into its home underneath my stairs, because they're getting too tall for my rack over here. At least one of them is. A couple of them have maybe another week, but I'm going to put them in there. I might leave a couple out here and put 4 or 5 in there, and the other ones I'm going to keep out here, and see the difference between them as my little split test. But I'm going to turn you around and show you what we got. Before you do it, like, subscribe, comment, share my content if you like it. If you don't. But I'm just here to show people how easy it is to grow food in Minnesota, or a cold climate during the winter. And if you have a little bit of space, you can grow quite a bit of food. And we call it outdoor, in permaculture, we call it stacking functions, where you wisely use your resources in your space, and you design that space with the most functionality you can put in it. Now outside, if we were doing that, the use of resources would be, let's say we had a 10 by 10 or a 20 by 20 space. Okay, in that 20 by 20 space, we could put probably four fruit trees in that space. And if you're putting them about 10 feet apart, some maybe 8 feet apart, but you're also going to put all your supporting plants, because there is 7 layers to a food forest. So we put our fruit tree in the ground, and then we got all our underground plants that help bring the nutrients from deep down in the soil up to the top of the soil through their stems and their leaves and their flowers. And they also help attract pollinators and all the bugs and birds and bees and everything you need. Okay, and then you have your tubers that are helping irrigate soil. You have your nitrogen fixers that are putting nitrogen in the soil that help build that soil. Those are called chop and drops. Okay, and same with comfrey. Comfrey's a dynamic accumulator, where you let it grow and then you chop it and you drop it right in the soil, and it builds soil. Then you have your herbaceous layer, with all your herbs and some of your small stuff, and then you got your berry bushes, and then you have your fruit trees and your canopy all right? You got your upper layer, and then you have your vining plants that also take part. But when you plant all that together, you are stacking functions and you are using your space wisely. And that allows you to grow an abundant amount of food in a small space. But anyway, I'm trying to do that indoors in a small space in an empty room in my basement in my townhouse. And around the rest of my townhouse, I have fruit trees, a bunch of fruit trees growing. I have an arrow garden upstairs in my dining room behind my table with some spinach growing on it and lettuces growing on it. And in my window upstairs, I have a bunch of herbs growing. They're not doing so hot because they got a little bit cold outside before I brought them in, and that's not too much to worry about. Throw a couple seeds in the ground or in a pot, and I'll have an herb garden in a couple weeks. So that's not that big of a deal. But anyway, enough talking. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and enjoyed time with their families. And you know, my gift every day is coming down here and spending time with my plants and watching their progress, because these plants are going to feed me. And well, those other ones back there, they're not going to feed me, but they're going to help me with my appetite. But anyway, I'm going to turn you around and show you everything so you can see the progress. And like I said, if you've been watching my videos, wait till you see the transformation of these tomato plants in the last 4 days, and the pepper plants. Here we go. All right, here, let's get down to that level here. Look at the size of the tomato plants. And then since I trellised them, I add the string trellis. You saw the video about that. Now, see, we can even wrap this one around again. Right there, boom, there. And now it's going to train itself up that string, same here. And then, like I said in the video, I'm going to go crisscross with the string also, which is going to give it more stability as they start to grow fruit. Because this Roma tomato, it's really starting to take off. And if you've seen the videos, you know that the black cherry was probably about 25% that size last Monday. So a week ago yesterday, that thing was half the size, or 25% of that size, and now it's taller. Well, I just stretched that one out, but it's the same height as the other tomato plants, and that is how fast these things can grow. And let's look at the pepper plants over here. Look how much that one, the poblano, has grown in the past week. The black Hungarians, look at, that's gonna pass this one up here. This, let me see, we got some water coming out? Yeah, we do, okay. But now that their root systems are more established, they're really starting to take off because they're soaking up all the nutrients. And I also, in my nutrients, I add worm castings, and I add some fish emulsion, which is the nastiest stuff, but smells like you just got done cleaning fish after a day of being on the lake. But I tell you what, these plants absolutely love it. So worm castings and fish emulsion in the water, and that's what you will get. Let's move over to the banana tree. You can see how I've shown you in the past how the new leaves are coming in. Look at this pretty big leaf coming in. In a couple of days, that's going to open up and just be a nice, beautiful leaf. More coming in all over the place. Oh, I just spilled water. There's another beautiful one coming in. There's all the lettuces, herbs. Got that Swiss chard. Got the green romaine, red romaine, spinach, chives. There's some basil in there somewhere. and red romaine lettuce. And here's the seeds sprouting in here. And we got our couple different types of peppers in each. In this one, a couple different ones in this one. And even though that is not very tall, the thing fruited like crazy all summer. And it did not get any taller than what it is. I did not prune it or anything. It just stayed tiny like that. And that's probably because I had them all in that small pot. I planned on moving them into a larger pot, but never got around to it because I was so busy this summer and not spending a lot of time at home because I'm outdoors working. This thing is going absolutely out of control. That's a citronella plant, and when I brought it in, it was this high right here where my hand is, and it has grown that since I brought it in at the beginning of November. And if I let that go, it's going to be up to the ceiling by springtime. And then we got the little smaller banana plants or banana trees in here, and they're doing amazing. You got new leaves coming in on all of these. Boom, that one, look at how big that one is. They're just thriving down here under the lights. And then we're going to go over to the cannabis, the purple queens on top, and they're just really going through a growth spurt right now. And especially down below here, wow, they're starting to look so pretty. Look at that. But the one over here in the corner, that's up to the top now. That actually grew about 4 inches in the past day and a half. It was at least 4 inches underneath the lights, and then within the last day and a half, it grew about 4 inches tall. So now it's grew up against my lights there, so I'm gonna have to take it out of there. But yeah, they're looking great. I mean, can't complain. First time growing weed, and they seem to be doing fine. This one's kind of small, but that really doesn't bother me. Since this is my first time, I'm going to do a lot of learning, make a lot of mistakes. People are going to give me a lot of comments and all that type of stuff because they can do it better than me, and they've grown longer than me. So yeah, but that's okay. I learn from my mistakes and I move on. I figure it out. That's what growing food is all about too. You watch your plants, you watch your trees and see what they're telling you, because they will tell you what's wrong with them if you watch them. And then you can take the time to get it right. It could be a soil problem, could be a water problem, could be a light problem, could be a heat problem, could be a humidity problem, could be a pH problem. There's a lot of different things. You could have a pest, you could have flies, you could have mites, you know, all little types of shit, you know, that will potentially ruin what you're growing. But if you watch everything, you stay on top of it, do your research, ask questions, you will figure it out, and your stuff will continue to grow. Anyway, that's enough for me for all that. I hope you like my videos and how this room is going to be crazy, especially over here. In another week, my tomato plants will probably be up where the light is, so I'm gonna have to raise the light up some more. My peppers are gonna be where the tomato plants are now. Next week, poblano should be about the height of this one, and these two will be double or triple in size of what they are now, and we'll be able to see that when I make the video. I'll make another one in 4 days, so I'll make another one Friday, and we'll see the progress from today until Friday. And that's that. But anyway, let me turn around. Like I said, hope everyone had a great Christmas with their families, spent time with their loved ones, and now you're getting back to the grind. the daily grind of things, and that same thing here. But yeah, if you're interested in growing food indoors or outdoors, especially outdoors, and you have some space that you want to grow food, and we're talking about a perennial food forest, not tomatoes and peppers and stuff. Those are something you put real close to your house that you can keep an eye on, because an annual garden takes a lot of work. A perennial food forest or perennial garden, those are perennials. So you put them in the ground and they go through their seasons. Okay, in the winter they go dormant, they go to sleep until springtime, and then they come back to life, just like all the other trees you see around. Okay, that's what a perennial is. And there is hundreds and hundreds of varieties of perennial fruits, perennial vegetables, herbs, vining plants, so many different things that you can plant that will come back year after year, and that makes your lawn less maintenance than just having grass. And you will be having zero poisons in your soil, because you will be growing without poisons. Now, if you have a lawn, just a green lawn, you're going to be poisoning the shit out of that. Try to keep the dandelions away and everything else. So you look at the American lawn is the most, people want to say fertilized, but it's the most poisoned crop in the entire world. Well, let's start with the United States. The most poisoned crop in the world that does not produce any yield. Think about that for a minute. Does not produce any fruit, any vegetables, anything. What it does, it soaks up all that poison, and then when it rains, the poison goes deeper into the soil, or it washes out of the soil into our sewer systems, into our water, and then what happens? We drink it, we eat it, and that's why cancer from glyphosate is so high. But people want to see them ChemLawn little signs in their yard. It makes them feel good, where they have a little kid and a dog playing on the little sign, but then they have an X through it. Kids and dogs do not go on the lawn. It's poison. Doesn't take rocket science to figure out that is the dumbest thing you could ever do. Anyway, enough about that. Grow food, not lawns. And in the winter, grow food indoors. Have an amazing day, my friends.